Check 1 2. What is going on, YouTube? Modsville USA here, back with another video, and this is part 2, working on the PSX DESR 70,000. Now in the first video, we just did, we took it maybe not as far as we could take it with software, but we took it pretty far. We installed FreeMig Boot, which bypassed the dead burner laser to be able to actually boot games up. We flashed Mechapoon, which enabled full region free for PS2 games, and it actually, for PS1, it would only play Japanese games, but it what we didn't discuss in that video or find out is it also plays burned Japanese PS1 games. So if we wanted, we could convert our patch our discs for the Japanese region, burn them, and they should play, but we're not going to do that. We are going to be installing a mod chip. This is a legit Matrix Infinity, and this will allow us to just boot PS1, any region and backups, as well as PS2, any region and backups. Now the PSX is essentially 50,000 fat PS2, and if you you know your PS2 lore, the 50,000 needs a pick fix or something similar laser fix, because basically what Sony did was booby trap these things. So if you put a burn disc in them, it's supposed to be able to tell, and then your disk drive spins crazy and your lasers burn out, and that's no good. So I've gone ahead and figured out the pinout to install a pick fix, so we're going to be installing that as well. So we've got the Matrix Infinity mod chip, and we're going to be installing a pick fix to preserve our laser. So this is the one that we're going to be following today. This was made by Andrew Paul on YouTube, and he has a very rad series on the PSX, doing a lot of tinkering and testing, and he whipped up this diagram that is incredibly useful. So we're going to be able to do everything on the bottom side of the board, thanks to the finding these alt points here for the CD and DVD drive. Without this, you have to solder them to the fine legs on the other side of the board. And I'll show a picture of my previous install on a 77,000 one of these. It looks nice, but it is a major pain in the ass, and I'll show you why in a moment here, why that's such a pain in the ass. So we're going to be following these, and I went ahead and whipped this up. Now this should be good for the pick fix. So I beeped out the K point here to this via, next to all the other CD DVD vias. We've got J here, similar to on a V10. We've got our 5 volts, and then we just need to use any ground. And as you can see, these are all very close to each other. Same side of the board as the mod chip install. So this is actually going to be a super simple install compared to the traditional diagram, which is this one here. So this one is a mess. Some of these wires are wrong here, and it's kind of just hard to tell what's going on, so I kind of like edited it. I'm not sure if my edit's even correct. Let's see, 1 2 3. It's hard to tell what the fuck is going on, where these pins are going, whatever. Don't follow this one. We're not gonna follow this one. That one's been floating around the longest, but it's Yeah, don't follow it. Now Silverez went ahead and made this diagram here. I helped a little bit with photos or whatever, but she did all of this, put it all together, and we've got the BIOS wires here, nice and easy to see what's going on. And this image was from the PSX dev wiki, so you can see what's going on here. So got the resistor and the 3 pins here, A, B, Y, S, CX, and 3.3 volts. So this should work for any board revision, because we do not yet have the alt points for the later boards. Only the earlier boards, we've got those alt points, and hopefully we can figure that out down the line, figure out where those are going. But for now, if you want to do this in one of the later boards, you're going to want to follow this. And let me show you why this is such a pain in the ass to do. So you're going to be soldering to these very fine pitch legs here, which is hard enough. But you got an extra challenge of this memory card port here. So it's just fucking really difficult to get in here with your iron and get the right angles to solder to it, because this guy is obstructing it. You gotta maneuver, you gotta solder at wonky angles that you're not comfortable with in order to solder to these pins. So really hope we find the alt points for these, because this is unpleasant and I never want to do that again. Because like, I've got no problem soldering to these legs. I don't mind doing it. Sometimes it's fun to do, but you add this controller port or the memory card port in the mix in front of it, and it's just unpleasant. I don't like it. So yeah, we're not going to be doing that today, because we've got everything configured on the bottom side of the board. So I'm almost done meandering, I swear. So I put a little bit of thought into this. So we've got our BIOS chip here. We've got our CD, DVD vias here. I'm thinking this will be a fantastic place to mount this. BIOS coming down on top of this chip over here. Alt points coming around. And then we got a few stragglers as well. So we're going to install this. We're going to install the PicFix. I'm going to test to make sure my PicFix diagram is correct. And yeah, we should be good. And we will be able to play PS1 and PS2 region free, as well as backups. And also preserve the laser from burning itself out. And if we ever get our hands on a replacement burner laser, hopefully the PicFix saves us. So let's get into it. And one more thing real quick. I want to give an extra special shout out here to X Savior over here on YouTube for his disassembly videos. Absolutely saved my ass, and we've been chatting it up. He's learned quite a bit, and I guess he's replaced multiple of the burner lasers, and they keep burning out every like they'll last for like a month or so. So we're really hoping the PicFix solves that, so we can get working burner lasers and then be able to boot games from XMB and not have to bypass it with FreeMic boot. So hopefully the PicFix works and keeps those burner lasers alive enough to detect what type of media is in there, so we don't need to rig it up with FreeMic boot like we have been. So go sub to him, go sub to Andrew Paul, make fantastic PSX videos. So check it out, and I'm going to stop talking and we're just going to do a montage and install this shit. Let's go. Big ups to today's sponsor, PCBWay. If you're in the market to get some PCBs manufactured, 3D print work done, or CNC machining, PCBWay has you covered. My personal favorite is the retro stuff section under shared projects. If you find a project you like, you can order one directly from the page with the choice of having it assembled as well. The creators of these projects even get a cut from your purchase. Click the link in the description if this interests you. Now, let's get back to the show. Well, alright, ladies and gentlemen. It's not perfect. It's pretty good. We've got had a little bit of chalky gluage going on here, which always drives me crazy, but there's not much you can do once that happens. But yeah, here's the routing. Power coming from over here. And here's the pick fix for you. Yeah, now it's just a matter of putting it back together and hoping it works. Now, one thing I'd like to go over with the pick fix is how to test that it's working properly. So if this resistor value is too low, it's likely going to turn on and turn back off, and we'll need to use a higher resistor value in order to fully test that it's programmed correctly and working. You disconnect the K wire, and then you would wire, let me double check that. So yes, we would disconnect K, and we would wire K from the pick fix to a ground point, and the console should turn on and turn itself off after a few seconds. So if that happens, the pick fix is functioning properly, and then you would just remove that wire, reinstall K. I plan to do that, but for now I just want to see if it turns on. And if it turns on, do some testing and come back in and test the pick fix a little bit harder. So I want to put this back together, and I'll see you when I'm done. Well, alright, ladies and gentlemen. So I managed to get this working perfectly. This is day 2, and there's been a lot of troubleshooting in between. So essentially, you might notice the pick fix has been removed. So I did some testing. I had to set the matrix to DVD V mode, and I was able to boot PS1 backups out of region, and it had to be set to DVD V mode as well for PS2 games to work for some reason. And I was able to get region-free PS2 games working, but I could not get backups to boot. And did a lot of tinkering, and then finally solved it by removing the pick fix. I removed the pick fix, set this back to auto mode, and it booted PS2, any region, and backups fine. And then for PS1, you have to hold circle at the matrix menu to boot it into DVD/PSX mode, and then release it around when FreeMake boot comes up, and PS1 out of region, backups, etc. They all worked. So unfortunately, the pick fix is a no-go. I'm about 99% that my points are all accurate, so in the diagram. So unfortunately, there seems to be either a compatibility issue with the pick fix and the mod chip on a PSX unit, or just the pick fix in general on a PSX unit. I don't know. It might be in the code. I'm not sure what's going on. It will need more testing. So I'll make a universal diagram and put on it that it's experimental and it needs more testing. And yeah, maybe hopefully we can get some results. But I think the plan now is to just do the Romeo mod. Let's pull this little heat sink off here. So essentially, we're just going to lift a pin off this guy and tie it to 5 volts. Now, Romeo mod is super janky in my experience, or it can be. And I believe that's when you have a laser that's not a 400C, and these use the 400C laser. So if you have like a V9, V10 with a HD7 laser, one of those beefier ones, it needs more than the 5 volts that gets supplied with the Romeo mod. And essentially, once you install it in a console that has the HD7 or similar non-400C laser, it'll just make your laser just shitty. Like, it'll struggle to read anything, and that is not ideal. But since we've got these HAV 400Cs, the Romeo mod should be fine. We lift a leg, we solder a wire, and that's it. So I guess let's do it and test it out. Okay, it's very difficult to get shots of this stuff. This is a very bulky machine, very tough to line up. But I used the 5 volts that I used for the pick fix. So this leg here going to the 3rd pin from the right, and that pin is lifted. Make sure there's no shorts anywhere, because that will fry this chip. So make sure this leg isn't shorted to the next one, or check the pads below, make sure there's no bridges there, because that'll be a problem. I have accidentally done that before and blown one of these bad boys. So time to test, and I hope nothing explodes. Well, alright, ladies and gentlemen, we got them. So here we are in the Matrix menu, holding triangle and circle on boot. We'll get you here if your mod chip is installed correctly. And these are the settings I have currently. PS2 screen fix set to NTSC. So if we were to boot a PAL PS2 or PS1 disc, we would get it displaying properly on screen instead of in black and white and all glitched out. So that is nice. I've got PSX multi-disc on, MC16 patch, Macrovision fix, screen fix, DVD region set to 2. Scratch that. I changed it to 1. That is United States. Come over here. Here's all the region codes. So 1 is US, 2 is Europe, 3 is Southeast Asia, South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong. Read over this. In the US, sticking with US region. So there we go. DVD9 double layer support, turning that on, and that was new to me. That is not in the clone menus for whatever reason, so that is neat. Boot mode set to auto, pad detect time at the lowest, and I like the Matrix boot logo, so we're keeping that on. Editingville here from the future, and I just want to add that you're going to want to turn that MC16 patch off. I was having issues that were freezing the PSX on the FreeMic boot logo, and I had to unplug the console. So if I make reference to that, it's because I had the MC16 patch on. So go ahead and disable it. It's an old memory card patching thing that you don't need to even worry about anymore. So turn it off. And turning it off solved my problems. Alright, let's carry on. Save the settings by pressing start, and we have no reset button, so we have to hold power for about 10 seconds to turn it off. So I'm going to turn it off, boot it up with my FreeMic boot memory card inserted, and we're going to go through the line. We're going to test PS2 Japanese, PS2 US, PS2 backup, and then do the same for PS1. And there we go. It's booting. Had to clean my disc a little bit. Crashed last time. And bada bing. Japanese Star Wars Battlefront is booting up. Now let's test a US disc. And there we go. Infinity 193. Very good. Now let's test a burned PS2 DVD. Okay, there it goes. So burned PS2 disc is booting. Now I actually ran into an issue there. It crashed on the FreeMIC boot screen last time, and I couldn't turn it off. I had to literally unplug it. Okay, Japanese PS1. So I'm holding circle to boot DVD and let go. So you hold circle on boot at the matrix menu and let go at the FreeMIC boot screen. PS1 games seem to take a little longer to get past the FreeMIC boot logo. And there we go. Okay, holding circle again. This is US PS1 disc. And let go at the FreeMIC boot logo. Fantastic. Now, holding circle. Let go of circle. And last but not least, this is burned PS1. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that constitutes a success. The only issue seems to be crashing and not being able to turn the console off if the disc is scratched up. I'm getting some crashes at FreeMIC boot every once in a while. Otherwise, it seems to be functioning perfectly. Well, anyways, I think that's it. DESR 7000, hard modded with the Romeo laser fix. Should be good to go. We're ready to play all of our PS1, PS2 discs, as well as backups. Now, I plan on doing at least one more PSX video. I'd like to figure out how to add a homebrew to the actual PSX menu to XMB. Maybe instead of using OPL, maybe install some PS2 games directly to XMB to boot from there. That could be kind of neat. But otherwise, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you liked it, and I'll see you on the next one.
It's true, it's good, don't have his back, I say what to do, it's good,